When I was a little girl, I was about 11 years old, I guess, and I was a dancer. And that's what I wanted to do for my whole life. And I wasn't a very good student. And one day my sister said at the dinner table, "What's Goldie gonna do?" I mean, she can't type. So my mother said, "She'll dance. That's what she'll do." And my father said, "No, she won't. She'll act first, sing second, and dance third." And so there turned a wonderful family argument around the table. What's Goldie gonna do? So during that time, people would say to me, because all I did was dance. So Goldie said, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Goldie? What do you want to be?" And they thought I was going to say something like, a prima ballerina and I remember saying this, honestly. I said, "I want to be happy," at 11 years old. And they said, No. What do you want to be? Like, you want to be a dancer on Broadway? Do you want to be? And I said, "No, I want to be happy." And their faces, it was like the loftiest dream. I mean, little did I know that as we grow up, it's a little bit tougher to stay happy with all the trials and tribulations of life. But it was a main goal of mine. So keep that in my back pocket. I wanted to have a dancing school, which I did at the age of 17. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have children, and I wanted to be happy. And that was going to be my life. So I found an audition in Washington, D.C., which is where I'm from. I went to this audition. I made the audition. I went home. I said, "Mom, I got this audition. I'm now dancing at the World's Fair. This is awesome. I can't believe it. In New York." And she had a gravelly voice, and she said, "All right, Goldie, well, this is just the beginning." Dad said, "She'll act, she'll sing, and she'll dance. That's what she'll do." Mom said, "See, she's dancing." So I went to New York. I moved into an apartment that was completely cockroach infested. I danced at the World's Fair on a stage half this size where I thought I was going to cartwheel off of it every night. The good news is I was dating the bartender. Anyway, so I went there. I had some pretty interesting experiences. And suddenly I had kind of, I guess you could call it a bad experience. Some man wanted me to audition, and he wasn't on the up and up. I said, "You know what? Do I want to do this, or do I want to go home, open a dancing school, get married, and be happy?" No, I called my dad. He said, "Keep going, go. You're still young." So I now said, "Cool." So I got another call. "I'd like you to come to Los Angeles." It was a choreographer that I worked for. I went, "Hey, great." I had $50 in my pocket. My mom got me my ticket. I actually bought a dog, which I couldn't afford. And I left New York, and I didn't realize it, but I was leaving it for the rest of my life. I would never go back to my apartment in New York City. I went to a dancing place. I did theater in the round there. I had a really good time. And I called up my dad. I said, "Is it time now for me to open a dancing school, come home, get married, and be happy?" Dad said, "You're still young, Go. Why don't you keep giving it a whirl?" I said, "Okay." So I auditioned for this job in Las Vegas. And that's when I went to Las Vegas. And that decision that I made with Daddy, not to go on the road or to go home, get married, and be happy, was a decision that ultimately changed my life. Because when I came back, I auditioned for a TV show. I got the TV show. I was plucked out of the TV show by an agent who said to me, "Do you have an agent?" And I said, "No." "Oh," he said, "would you come see me? I'm at William Morris Agency." And I went, "Uh-huh. I know about you guys." So I shined it on. I was happy dancing. I got a gig that I really wanted to get. It was on TV. I didn't really want to do anything else. So one day the phone rang in my apartment. "Miss Hawn?" "Yes." "This is the secretary of Mr. Simon. He's waiting for you. Are you coming in or not? And I went, you mean he was serious? I mean, he really wanted to meet me? And he said, well, she said, well, yes, but if you're not interested. I said, oh, no, I'm really interested. I just thought he wanted something else. So anyway, I went in and there were all these agents sitting around and they were looking at me really like I had 6 heads. And I didn't know what to do because I was a dancer. I wasn't an actress or a performer or a this or that. I was really just in my flow. I was doing, like you, what I wanted to do. So when this man said, I believe in her and I don't know why, and these guys said, well, she's too young for this, she's too old for this, she's not pretty enough for that, she's too pretty for this, and I went, oh my God, what a business. They said, you can sign her if you want. He said, well, I just want to send her up to this audition. No problem. They all walked out of the room, hardly said goodbye. I then went to this audition. Now, you know, we make choices in our lives and we don't know why. And one step leads us to the next and the other step does, and we think we're going to be scared in the desert in Death Valley, and we meet someone who lifts our spirits up like this Green Beret. I made a choice to say, yes, I will go in to this audition. I went in with a script. I went in with a Corningware teapot. I went in with a tea bag, and I went in with a cup because that's what the scene called for. I brought my own props. Well, nobody does that in Hollywood. It's just not cool. So they laughed. They liked me, I guess. I left, and I got a call. Goldie, you got the job. I said, what job? I'm too young to play that girl, that woman. They said, no, they wrote in a part for you. You mean the part didn't exist and I got the part? And they said, yes. Now, here's the interesting part of this story. I got the job and I got deeply depressed. And it was a serious depression for a young girl. I suddenly was being asked for my autographs. I wasn't dancing anymore. Everything that I always knew was gone. I was in a life transition. I was in a life passage. I was suddenly somebody, and I didn't even know who I was yet. I couldn't go out into public without being sick. I was really in a state of anxiety. Now, I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't know, because I'm sure all of you at one time in your life have felt low, depressed, scared, fearful for one reason or another, or sometimes you just don't feel like you're in your own skin. Like I'm stepping outside of myself and you say, I wish I could be me again. And that's how I felt. I felt like I'd lost a part of me and I lost my smile. I remember having to go for these publicity pictures and I had to force a smile. And it was me. And I know that I had that smile inside of me for my whole life, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't access it. So here I am, successful, more money than I ever thought I'd get, a celebrity, what you would think is all the cocktail for happiness, and I was not happy. And I started to realize at that point that all of these external things that we think are going to make us happy, more money, position, a celebrity, new shoes, new car, new house, this is not ultimately what makes us happy inside. So I went to a doctor. I sought advice. And I worked at this like I went to the College of Goldie Hawn. I went to understand more about who I was in relationship to the public, who I was in relationship to my mother, my father, my sister, my friends, my dog, and who I was in relation to my own self-image. These things are really important things to remember. Who am I? Am I Century 21? Sometimes I think we wonder. Or am I me? Am I me without Century 21? Am I me without my children? Am I me without my husband? Who am I? And this is probably the most important question you'll ever ask yourself. What do I mean to me? Because if you don't know what you mean to me, how are you going to know how you can affect the world around you?